grew up in a small town called Ridgefield, on the edge of a forest we all called Pine Hollow. It stretched for miles, thick trees, uneven ground, and trails that seemed to lead nowhere. My street ran right beside it, so the woods were basically our playground. When I was younger, a bunch of us from the neighborhood spent nearly every weekend outside. Summer nights were the best. The air smelled like grass and smoke from barbecues, and we'd stay out until our parents yelled for us to come home. Our favorite game was hide and seek, but once the sun went down, it always felt different. The woods swallowed the light. Everything looked the same no matter where you were. That's what made it thrilling and terrifying. The last time I ever played hide and seek in Pine Hollow was when I was 14. It was a muggy August night, the kind where the air feels too thick to breathe. There were 5 of us: me, my best friend Logan, his younger brother Sam, and 2 other guys from down the road, Evan and Bryce. We decided to play in the backyards and into the edge of the woods. The rule was simple. You could hide anywhere as long as you could still hear the seeker call when the round ended. Evan volunteered to be it first. The rest of us ran. I dashed into the trees with Logan, but after a few seconds, we split up. I crouched behind a fallen trunk, my knees sinking into the damp leaves. I could hear Evan counting in the distance, his voice echoing faintly through the dark. When he hit 50, the woods went dead silent, except for the hum of crickets and the soft rustle of branches. A few minutes passed, then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, steady, crunching through the leaves somewhere behind me. I thought it was Evan, so I held my breath. The steps stopped just a few yards away. Whoever it was stood there for a long time without saying anything. My skin prickled. I waited, but the footsteps eventually started again, moving deeper into the forest. When everything went quiet again, I peeked over the log. I couldn't see far. The moonlight barely touched the forest floor. After a few minutes, Evan shouted that the round was over. I ran back to the yard, relieved. Everyone was already there, except Sam. A minute later, he came jogging out of the trees, laughing and covered in dirt. He said nobody could have found him. I told them where I hid and mentioned the footsteps that had passed me, but Evan looked confused. He said he never went that far into the woods. He only searched near the first few trees before finding Logan. I froze for a second. Then who was walking back there? I asked. Everyone shrugged it off, laughing. We played another round. This time, I was the seeker. I found Logan and Evan easily enough, but when I went into the woods to look for Sam and Bryce, I heard the footsteps again. Slow, heavy, coming from ahead of me. I pointed my flashlight, but all I saw were branches. The steps stopped. Then, from behind me, I heard Evan shout that the game was over. I turned around and he was already back in the yard. I asked if he had been in the woods. He shook his head. My stomach twisted again. We kept playing, but I couldn't relax. Every time I hid, I heard faint rustles in the trees, twigs snapping, dry leaves crunching, like someone circling us but never showing themselves. Once I thought I saw a tall shape move between the trees, but when I looked again, it was gone. The final round of the night, Bryce suggested we all hide deep in the woods to make it more fun. I stayed near the edge instead. I crouched in some tall grass, close enough to see the faint glow of the porch lights. A few minutes later, I heard it again, but this time, not footsteps, whispering. A low, steady voice, too soft to understand, but close enough that I could feel it. My heart stopped. I stayed perfectly still, barely breathing. The whispering faded, replaced by those same slow, deliberate footsteps. Then Evan called from the yard that the game was over. When I walked back, everyone was already there, laughing. I told them about the whispering. They laughed harder, saying I was trying to scare them. But I noticed something Sam wasn't laughing. He was pale, staring toward the woods. When I asked what was wrong, he said quietly, "Did any of you see that man?" We all went silent. Sam said while he was hiding, he saw a tall man standing between the trees. He thought it was Evan at first, but the man didn't move. He just stood there, half hidden in the shadows, watching. Bryce told him to stop making stuff up, but I knew by the way Sam said it. He wasn't joking. We ended the game right there and went home early. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing that whisper in my head and the crunch of footsteps on dry leaves. I never played hide and seek in Pine Hollow again. Even now, years later, when I walk past those woods at night, I still feel it. That same heavy silence, that same crawling feeling on the back of my neck. And sometimes, if the wind's just right, I swear I can still hear the soft crunch of someone moving through the trees, looking for someone who's still hiding